Hi, my name is Adri, and today I will be going over Unit F, Concept 10, which is finding the zeros of real and complex numbers. So my equation is f of x equals 22x to the fourth minus 174x to the third plus 105x squared plus 44x plus 3. So now we have to find p's over q's. So 3 would be p, and that's plus or minus 1 and plus or minus 3. Then I have to find the q, which is for 22, which is plus or minus 1, plus or minus 2, plus or minus 11, and plus or minus 22. So now I have to do p's over q's, which is 1 over 1 is 1, plus or minus 1. 1 over 2 is plus or minus 1 over 2. 1 over 11 is plus or minus 1 over 11. 1 over 22 is plus or minus 1 over 22. And 3 over 1 is 3. 3 over plus or minus 3. 3 over 2 is plus or minus 3 over 2. 3 over 11 is plus or minus 3 over 11. And 3 over 22 is plus or minus 3 over 22. So we narrowed it down from all the numbers to 16 numbers. And now we have to do the rule of signs. So 22 is, f of x is 20, which is a positive one. So 22 is a positive, 174 is a negative, 105 is positive, 44 is positive, and 3 is positive. So there's only two changes here, which is from a positive to negative, negative to positive. So that's 2 or 0 positive, because they could only go in pairs. And f of negative x is the 22x to the fourth stays the same, so it stays positive. The negative 174, because it's x squared, it changes signs. I mean x to the third, it changes signs. So it changes from a negative to positive. Because this one's x squared, it stays the same. This one changes signs, and the 3 stays the same. So this doesn't change. This doesn't change. From positive to negative, it changes. And from the negative to a positive, it changes. So it has 2 or 0 negative. Then after, we can use any of these numbers to find zeros. So I'm going to start off with 1 using synthetic division. So 22, negative 174, positive 105, 44, and 3. So we bring down the 22. 22 times 1 is 22. Negative 174 plus 22 equals negative 152. Negative 152 times 1 equals negative 152. 105 minus 152 equals negative 47. Negative 47 times 1 is negative 47. 44 minus 47 equals negative 3. And negative 3 times 1 equals negative 3. And 3 minus 3 equals 0. So we found a 0 here. So here we can write our zeros on the side. So that would be 1. And then if we factor it, x minus 1. After, we can try negative 1. We can try it up here actually. So we try it with our new row. So negative 1. So we bring down the 22. 22 times negative 1 equals negative 22. Negative 152 minus 22 equals negative 174. Negative 174 times negative 1 equals positive 174. Negative 47 plus 174 is 127. 127 times negative 1 equals negative 127. And negative 127 minus 3 equals negative 130. So this is not a 0 here, so we can cross this out. So we have to use this one next time we plug one in. And rather than plugging all of these in, we can just use our calculator, and we can press x equals and put the equation in, and we hit trace, and since we tried 1 already, we don't have to try 1, negative 1, and it didn't work, we don't have to try negative 1. So we can try 1 over 2, and that's not a 0 here, so negative 1 over 2, that's not a 0 here. 1 over 11, that's not a 0 here, and negative 1 over 11, and that is a 0 here, so we're going to try negative 1 over 11. And we're going to use our same row. 22, negative 152, negative 47, and negative 3. So we're going to bring down the 22. 22 times negative 1 over 11 is negative 2. Negative 152 minus 2 equals negative 154. Negative 154 times negative 1 over 11 is 14. Negative 47 plus 14 equals negative 33. And negative 33 times negative 1 over 2 is positive 3. And negative 3 plus 3 equals 0. So this is another 0 here that we can write here to the side. So negative 1 over 11. And if we want to factor that, we can write that 11x plus 1. So here are 2. And now that we have brought the equation down to x squared, we can use the quadratic formula to solve. So what we have left is 22x to the x squared minus 154x minus 33. So we can use the quadratic formula. So we can, so it would be positive 154 plus or minus radical negative 154 squared minus 4 times 22 times negative 33 all over 2 times 22. So we're going to do this first. So negative 154 squared is, we can write it over here. So the 154 stays the same. Plus or minus radical negative 154 squared is 23,716 plus negative 4 times 22 times negative 33 is positive 2,904 all over 2 times 22 equals 44. These two add up to, we can write it all over again. So 154 plus or minus radical to that all over 44. So I got that number by adding those two. Then we're going to have to break this down. So 484 times 55 equals that big number. And 55 is going to stay the same because it's prime. And 484 can break down to 22 and 22. So we can pull 22 out. And the 55 will stay in. So we can rewrite that as 154 plus or minus 22, because we took it out here, radical 55 over 44. And we can reduce it. So 154 divided by 44 is 7. So we reduce this one. Plus or minus 22 divided by 44, that would make a 2 on the bottom. And the 22 disappear. And we're left with radical 55. So this would turn out to 7 plus radical 55 over 2 and 7 minus radical 55 over 2. And here are other zeros, so these can go in. So our zeros are 1, negative 1 over 11, 7 plus radical 55 over 2, and 7 minus radical 55 over 2. Those are 4 zeros. And then when we factor it, we have x minus 1, 11x plus 1, and we can do two things with this. Since before putting in the quadratic formula, this was our equation, so we can put this 22x squared minus 154x minus 3. So this can be our factor, or we can do this. To factor it, we would need to substitute x minus 7 plus radical 55 over 2 and x minus 7 minus radical 55 over 2. So these are this one and this one are zeros, but we just need to factor it, so we need to change it. So we're going to distribute the negative, so it would be, for this one, it would be x minus 7 minus radical 55 over 2. But if you want to make the x over 2, we would have to put a 2 in front of the x, so the 2 can be all over it. And for this one, x minus 7 plus radical 55 over 2, and same thing goes to this. Got a 2 in front of the x, and it can be all over. So this would be our factors. So to rewrite it, we can put x minus 1, 11x plus 1, 2x minus 7 minus radical 55 over 2, and 2x minus 7 plus radical 55 over 2. So that's our factors. And our zeros, once again, are 1, negative 1 over 11, 7 plus radical 55 over 2, and 7 minus radical 55 over 2.